Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the upcoming UFC card from a DraftKings DFS perspective. And I was originally going to do this on Wednesday, but I just found out that the Marcos and Vera fight is allegedly canceled, and we got the replacement opponent for Sue. So I figured, why not do it today? Again, this is an early breakdown. I'm going to do another one on Saturday that'll have much better information. But I like to do a quick look at this on, Monday and Wednesday, usually, and just kind of, get familiar with the slate. So we're doing it on Tuesday this week. And yeah, let's get right into it. So UFC Vegas 83, we have, as of right now, an 11 fight card because the Marcos fight is canceled. So what that means, just off the bat, is that it's number one. It's going to be very hard to get unique, just because there's not many combinations you can make in general. And number two is that you're gonna just need the wins from your underdogs. You're not going to need to have huge upside, especially on a slate like this where we have a lot of crazy big underdogs. And then obviously we're going to try to look for good favorites, but once again, just the combination of good wins from your favorites and any win at all from an underdog could be good enough on a slate like this. So I'm going to start from the very top and work my way towards the middle and go through each fighter, talk about if they are a good play at their salary level, if I think they're going to be super highly owned and all of that stuff. Um, So yeah, we'll start with this fight is canceled. So Park versus Shannon Ross. So we have Park at 9.5K. He's minus 570, so that's about right. And then we have Ross down at 6.7, which makes sense. And for Park, we're really gonna need an ITD line of like minus 150 is what I'd like to see, and then hopefully a round one upside of like at least plus 200. And I know he's like primarily a grappler, so he, as long as his ITD line is good, he's going to rate to be a very good play. So let's take a look. Minus 300, really strong, and then his round one minus 105. So this guy is going to be someone you want to get to if you can. Now it might be hard to get to him because of you're going to need some good, low priced underdogs, but we'll get to that later. But as long as I can get to him, I really want to because he's a really good play. And then Shannon Ross is going to have a lot for me to even, yeah, I mean, I'm just not going to play Shannon Ross. But this week I will say, I think I'm gonna play the Mega Mini and try to do at least 100 lineups because I've been playing 20 for so long because I don't have an extremely large bankroll, let alone the size to play in the throwdown every week. But I want to get more lineups because DFS is not about, at least for me, the coolest thing is getting the optimal lineup, taking down the biggest tournaments, and you can't really do that in 3 max and 20 max. Now, it doesn't mean that those types of tournaments are bad or that I won't be doing them. It's just that I want to focus on a little bit more of like the lottery type of GPPs and make my videos more tailored to that because that's what most people want to do is win the big tournaments. So I am going to be trying to do that this week and trying to play many lineups. So my player pool is going to be a little bit bigger for these types of videos. So yeah, Park, probably none of Russ. Then we got Tatsuro Taira, 9.4K, and he's going to be, minus 500, so makes sense. ITD line, hopefully, of like minus 130 ish. We know he has good control and takedown upside. His ITD line's like minus 110. I mean, Not amazing. Definitely not as good of a play as Park, in my opinion. And also his round, yeah, it's not like he has round one upside either. So Tyra's, I mean, he's fine. I'm not going to say he's a bad play. Like he could get to 100 in a decision win, right? He can. So I don't think it's full fade, but he's fine. He's not super strong, in my opinion, as a highly priced fighter. And then on the other side, Hernandez is not going to play him at plus 400. Then we got one half of the main event, Yadong Son. And I'll tell you what, first off, one equity, fine. Minus 350, that's fine. Usually, the favorite of the main event, you really never have to even look into it. It's almost an automatic when it comes to playing them. But with this fight, I thought the same thing. I went, oh, Yadong Son, yes. Chris Gutierrez, probably not. But then I looked into it more, and his ITD line is like minus 110, which is kind of the threshold that you want from a 9.2K fighter. But the thing is, this is spread across 5 rounds, and he's not exactly favored to do it in any which round. Like plus 450 round one, that's not good. And not to mention, he's not a grappler, and he's not even necessarily high volume when it comes to the striking. Like, for example, if he gets 110 strikes in a decision win, maybe plus 5 for other stuff, like you're looking at like 80 points, which is not good. So I usually would never say this, and I'm a very big fan of Sonya Don. I think he's a great fighter, and I think he has a very high ceiling in the sport. But for DFS on this slate, I think you can make the case to be very low on him, if not X him out. Probably not X him out, okay, because it's hard to X him out. But all I'm saying is he's nowhere near an elite play in my opinion. Definitely not a good play in my opinion. He's probably fine, if not fringy. That might be a hot take, but I just truly think he hasn't shown the volume upside to be a lock in a 5 round fight. And his ITD line is just okay for this price. And on the other side, Chris Gutierrez, for cash games, I think he's a great option because he shows a pretty good floor. And yeah, like for a point per dollar perspective at 7K, he's not a bad option. But if I'm looking for 6 winners, I'm probably just not going to get to Gutierrez for what I like to do and the way I play. So probably no Gutierrez for me, but I'm not saying he's necessarily a bad play. He's a good point per dollar play in my opinion. Yeah, Yadong San, fringy, maybe fine, but nothing amazing. Then we got this fight got canceled in Nascimento, but Sumaderji got a new opponent, and it's Tim Elliott. And you'll notice he's plus 140, which on an 11 fight card and at this price, it's a theoretical lock to play. Like I'm just gonna say he's a good play just off of that. Now we'll see what his ITD line says to decide whether he's an elite play. But just off of this, he's a good play. He's got to be in your underdog pool. And like I said earlier, it might be hard to get up to these high 9K guys unless we can find good underdogs in the low salary range. But because Sumaderji is at 7,100, you might be able to actually get up to the parks of the slate. So yeah, that's good news. Tim Elliott on the other side, I need to see more from the ITD lines and stuff to decide on him, but I don't think he can immediately be X'd out or included. I need to see more. We know he has the grappling, but yeah. Just need to see a bit more information, and I'll decide on that by Saturday. Okay. Then we got Costa versus Garcia, and Costa minus 240. That's fine. And his ITD line, we probably want minus 110. And this is weird because last week, this is the exact same fight that was supposed to happen last week, and he closed at minus 120 ITD. Now, a week later, he's at plus 105. So that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I imagine he'll close right back around minus 120. So this is really weird. But Costa, as of right now, is not an amazing play, but pending the line movement, I think Costa will be in my pool. And then Garcia at plus 300 at what, 70, 7,200? Yeah. Garcia is going to be in my pool of underdogs. So this is really good because now you can get a Garcia and Gutierrez build, and you can really get up to some of these higher priced guys. So that's good news. But yeah, Garcia is a pretty good underdog. And then Costa is, a fine play as of right now. But depending on the line movement, he could become a good play later in the week. But yeah, definitely Garcia as an underdog in your pool. Okay, then we got Roundtree versus Smith. Now, this is the fight I think that you almost want to go all in on. I'll tell you why. Number one, Roundtree, plus 200 round one. Like, that's the stuff you want to see out of like a 9.4K fighter. And what I see minus 125 ITD once again. That's great. This is what I was saying. So it already makes him a better play than Costa, which is why, as of right now, Costa's not particularly amazing. But anyway, Roundtree, minus 125, amazing. Round one upside, amazing. Now, you got to look at Smith because Roundtree rates to be an amazing play. Smith, on the other hand, like plus 235 ITD at 7.3K, that's incredible. That is incredible. So Smith, a very strong underdog. Got to have him. I know there's so much talk about Smith he's too old. He's done competing at the top. You got to throw away that noise. Everyone will tell you Roundtree is the lock of the card. You got to throw away that. The bottom line is that Smith is a 2-1 dog, and a third of the time he's going to win. And his win condition, according to the odds, is predicated on him getting the finish. So both sides of this fight, super strong. I think it's a fight you really want to heavily target on this card. And then next up we got Park versus Muniz. So this is kind of the same story a bit. Park is, on the come up. He's had a lot of great wins recently. Muniz was on the come up, and he's had 2 bad losses recently. But that's more for like the betting discussion. The lines are out there, and we have Park as like a minus 160, which honestly is not amazing for this price. But yeah, he has the takedown upside, and his ITD line is like plus 130. So just off of that, he's a good play. And then on the other side, Muniz plus 300 ITD at 7.4K. That's not bad either. So I think this is another fight where I'm gonna get to both sides. And yeah, it's that simple. I mean, nothing. It isn't a crazy strong case for either fighter, but I just think both sides they're good, and that's it. Nasrat versus Malarkey. Nasrat minus 190. So he's getting more win equity than Park, which is what I was saying as to why his win odds didn't seem too good at that price. But as far as GPP perspective, he's like plus 330 ITD, which is horrible for this price. Um, yeah, I'm probably gonna have no Nasrat, and then Malarkey plus 450 ish, which is not good on its own for 7.5K. But I think that in this matchup, his win condition is based around getting a lot of takedowns, which is going to score really well. So I think when he wins this fight, he's going to score decently well. And for that reason, he's going to be in my underdog pool. And yeah, I mean, usually I would look for a reason to pass on a guy like him. But on this card, I just think that because any win could be good enough, and like the fact that he probably is going to get takedowns if he wins, he's going to be in my pool, and simple as that. Um, yeah. Then we got Santos versus Egger. Santos minus 150, which is about normal for that price, and ITD like plus 145, plus 150. That's pretty good stuff for 8.6K. So she's, not to mention she has possible takedown upside. I think she's a really good play. I think she's a good play. And then Agar on the other side, like plus 400 ITD, plus 375 ITD, whatever. Not particularly amazing, but I might get to her, to be honest, especially because once again, just because she's winning, 40-ish% of the time on a card like this, that that could just be what you need. So Agar is kind of a fringe fighter for me right now, but I would not be surprised if I end up having her in my pool by the end of the week. Definitely Santos though. Giuseppe versus Kanan. So you're getting what happened to this fight? Oh, here it is. Thought I got canceled for a second. Kanan plus 123. That's not bad for 7,700. Yeah, I mean about normal pricing. Maybe a tiny bit of line value on Kanan Son, but you're really gonna want. I mean, yeah, this is what I was thinking. So he's like plus 330 ITD, which in a nutshell is not that great for this price. And then you look at Giuseppe. I mean, Giuseppe's a pretty good play at 8,500 plus 160. That's a good play. Plus his takedown upside. So Giuseppe, good play. Kanan, once again, I don't think he like just purely on the metrics, he's not an amazing play. But once again, 11 fight card, any win could be good enough. I think you have to include him. And I mean, it's not like his ITD line is atrocious. Like plus 330, I've seen way worse. So yeah, I think both sides of this fight are viable. Last but not least, Amanda versus Alencar. Where is this fight? There, okay. There we go. Okay, so first off, you're getting good amount of line value on Dos Santos. Do they have? Yeah, okay. Amanda slash Dos Santos. So number one, that makes her a good play. And then plus 250 ITD, that's like kind of right where you want an 8.3K fighter to be. That's good. And then on the other side, we have Alencar plus 450 ITD, which is not good at all for this price. But then I looked into it more, and I remember I watched her fight on the Contender Series, and she has, serious grappling upside. Her only problem was that she just completely gassed out in her last fight. But I imagine when she wins this fight, she's going to score pretty well because she's going to be shooting takedowns and either get a decision with a lot of takedowns or maybe even a submission. I assume that's her most likely outcome. Besides, yeah, so decision or some, yeah. So I really do think Alan Carr is another underdog you should include, especially once again on a fight where any win is kind of what you're looking for your underdogs. Not to mention her grappling upside. So yeah, quick recap. Like I said, obviously a lot of things are going to change between today, which is Tuesday, and Saturday. And I'm going to make a video on Saturday updating you on, what I did, what changed, what stayed the same, and all that stuff. But just as an early look, I'll give you, what the good plays are. So um, we'll start off from the top and just go downward. So Marcus fight canceled. Park, elite play. Tyra, fine. Son, fine. Costa, good. Roundtree, elite. Park, good. Nasrat, pass. Santos, elite. Gisette, good. Amanda, good. Alan Carr, fine. Sankanan, fine. Egger, uh, Fringy, / fine. Malarkey, fine. Muniz, good. Anthony Smith, elite. Garcia, good. Muderji, good. Gutierrez, pass, but a good option for a point per dollar play and maybe cash games. And then these three guys on the bottom are pass for me. So I know we didn't X out a lot of fighters this week, but again, I'm going to be looking to make this pool as tight as possible, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be going for the Mega Mini and possibly playing 150 in that. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'll update you guys on Saturday if any fights got canceled and if anything changed. But for now, that'll be it, and I'll see you on Saturday. Thanks for watching.